I could be wrong, but I believe that every single tag in the entire game, start to finish, every tag that is represented in EU4 is on the map at this current moment. And even better yet, they are in random places. Everything started as a one province minor and then filled in randomly. Some of them make sense, like Russia out here, but some of them don't make sense, like Salzburg over here, or, you know, Texas. It's entirely random, and I am really excited. Whether it's the Pueblo over in Beijing, the Tengri Holy Principality of Salzburg, or the Eastern Orthodox Grand Republic of Alaska in Scotland. I think this is going to be a ton of fun, and I really hope that you guys enjoy it as well. If you do, please take a second, leave a like on the video. It really does help out a lot. We've got some really big nations over in the New World where they had a lot of land to expand into, like Poland, Mulhouse down here in South Africa, and basically anybody over here in North America, especially like Saleh. Things should be pretty interesting, though Louisiana, Sicily definitely has a ring to it. I'll let the game run a little bit so that way I can fill in all of the countries, and if you want to check out the mod, it's going to be linked in the description below. Either way, you guys know the drill. We're going to turn it on up to speed 5 and unpause. And it is running quite slow here in the beginning. I believe there's a bunch of nations that are converting religions and stuff, kind of sorting out their starting scenario. Once that all gets established, I imagine things will go much quicker. But yeah, for the moment being, it's pretty messy. A lot of nations have like a preferred religion and they'll switch over to it if they are able to. A lot of them actually do via event as well. Some will, however, keep the religion that they spawned with, and that's pretty cool. And yeah, we're actually seeing just a crazy amount of separatist rebels and stuff because there's a lot of unrest from all of the religious unity issues that we're seeing, and we're seeing a lot of these black lines from people getting occupied. And it does look like the original nations keep their cores, so we may see nations with like cores on the other side of the world, like Hungary over here in Trent, may get some of their land back via rebels. That would be pretty funny. Though big shout out to the Rossids over here chilling in Iceland. Big fan of the Rossids. Nice color, nice ideas. They're just a really cool tag in general. Yeah, the New World nations like cannot cope. There's just not enough development over here, so they're having rebels and they're just like getting bonked by them. Also, Kalmyk. I'm sure I'm just going to be randomly seeing tags that I recognize that I don't usually see in vanilla. That's just going to be happening all game. Oh, Bonoman over here. Looks like they're looking to annex California from this Kulin. Very cool. But yeah, everyone else very much struggling with rebels. That's probably going to happen for the first 50 to 100 years or so, and then things will slowly settle down after people sort out their religious issues. Hey, yo, we got a Catholic Khanate. We've got a holy horde going on over here. Uzbek hanging out in the Baltic. They are definitely a horde as well. That is so funny. I love that. But yeah, 10 years in, still tons and tons of black lines, though it does look like there's some consolidation going on in various areas. So hopefully we'll see more of that stuff sorted out, like Paraguay over here annexing this Roswy Empire. So yeah, we're definitely seeing some of those states, like Asturias came from rebels, hanging out with the Ottomans over here in Deodoro. But you know, aside from that, this looks fairly normal. Pope Man hanging out in Rome. Somebody must have given it back, if I had to guess. And like I'd mentioned, Hungary is definitely getting some lands from those breakaway rebels. Looks like Bosnia as well. So you're seeing a lot of nations kind of return to where they came from, which is kind of cool, actually. Shout out Israel hanging out over here in like the former Yugoslav Republic of North Macedonia. Like you can totally see that the Mams got a lot of their land from rebels, like basically like half of their 1444 land. Though I have to say I'm a big fan of Salzburg growing very big up here in Siberia. Definitely a fan of that. Almost as much as I am a fan of Kazakhstan. That's a very good one. Greatest country in the world, if you didn't know. Though I do love seeing all these natives with like native land just in the middle of these continents. You guys know Potiguara, the, you know, nomadic tribe of Transylvania, right? A little after 1500 and we have a Reformation on our hands. There's a lot of Catholic nations, so that's not really a huge surprise. But yeah, we've also got some Hussite over here in Cascadia, I think is what this is. So yeah, something to keep our eyes on. The religious map mode is wild and is not getting any better. So that's definitely something we've got going on. But adding some Protestants to the mix should make it a little more chaotic. I'm definitely here for that. But I definitely wonder why certain nations convert to their religion. Like these guys over here are fetishists. These guys here are totemist, I believe, which is just weird because they are in their homeland, a holy principality, what their totem is. Though I'm a big fan of Buddhist Tonkin hanging out over here on the Isle of Man. Very nice unit sprite as well. But as far as the map goes, Sus is looking pretty good over here next to Granada and Iberia. The Ottomans and Asturias still kind of eyeballing each other. Texas has been pushing over into Pannonia. So definitely going to keep our eye on Texas over here. But we've also got Florida, so we can't forget about Florida. It does look like Serbia has annexed Israel, so there you go. And the Mams, though united, are not doing well. They've got lots of rebels. Also, shout out Andalusia over here. And though Israel was annexed, Jerusalem still exists, so there you go. Meanwhile, India and China, Southeast Asia are just a complete mess. But you know I have to point out Nepalese Albania. That is very nice. And yeah, it does look like China is maybe trying to unite. Malaya, though it is a strong tag, is getting bonked. And we do have a Manchu that's formed, but Saluzzo seems to be kind of the major power over here. So definitely pretty cool to see some variety. And of course, Hobyo, or whatever this is pushing to unite Scandinavia. So there you go. Iceland has returned home, which is weird. Oh, I'm actually pretty sure that the Rossids formed them. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And over in the New World, Hiss and Kaifa going strong, as is Sicily, though, you know, rebels. It's been established at this point. Meanwhile, South America, we've got Wichita, Pskov, Shamar, Tidor, and then Poland, who is Inti, very funny, doing their thing, just hanging out. Though it does look like things down under are maybe slowly starting to consolidate. We've got Cuba, Barus, and then Yucatan hanging out over here. Though it's kind of funny that the borders over here look mostly normal. And then you look at who the tags are, minus like Brunei and Zayak, they're all pretty wrong. Big fan of Australia over here in the Philippines. And I'm sure we're just going to keep seeing things like that throughout this whole video. If you see something good like that, leave it in the comments down below, especially if I missed it. Well, things are certainly starting to heat up a bit. It's almost 1600 and we definitely have some interesting border changes. Russia is gone, as is Salzburg for the most part. Rip them, they got eaten up by the hordes who seemingly have returned to their homelands with Nogai and Kazakh over here. Big fan of Corsica owning all this, with Constantinople going to the Mams. We've got Sicilian Italy over here. More on that in a moment, but definitely my favorite thing is just Texan Hungary. I'm a big fan. Paraguay over here with a Goslar over here, but obviously the major one over here is going to be Wales with Welsh France, and then they seemingly have returned to their homeland and they're uniting their culture group, which I am a huge fan of that. Also shout out Vermont. Africa's still pretty messy with Mulhouse like 1444 borders and this Cajamarca uniting Madagascar. Out this way, things are still pretty dang messy, maybe with this Kolathunad over here in China. Saluzzo taking over much of Manchuria and all of Korea. The very, very zen Saluzzo over here. And then Sukhondiz over here with Lake Baikal and like whatever this area is. I guess you call it like East Siberia. Jerusalem continues to do a bit of conquest over here with Papal Farsistan, Colombia, my beloved. And yeah, we've got some interesting stuff. Some colonial formables, Quebec, the United States, 2 Sicilies, Mexico, Louisiana down here. You also have Illinois and Canada. So we've got basically every colonial formable that you can see right now. But without a doubt, my favorite is Peru. Polish Peru with Vladislav Potocki as the heir. That's it. That's a good one. So with 200 years left in the game, Wales is the #1 great power, the only one with over 1,000 development, followed closely by Texas, 2 Sicilies, a bit of a drop-off down to Saluzzo, our friends over here, the great power from Asia, Peru in South America, then we've got the Mams, Cascadia over in Europe with almost under 400, and Corsica with the lands over in like Anatolia and Greece with almost 350. Well, we've got about 100 years left. We are into the age of revolutions, and things are definitely looking pretty dang blobby. We've got Vermont looking very big up here, as well as over here into like Poland and Germany. Wales is a thing, okay? And the Ottomans, meanwhile, are finally doing a bit of growing down here with Tejas over here, blobbing into Pannonia, down into Bulgaria. And that's pretty cool. They're also all the way over into Venice, so things are looking really good for them. Corsica, more blobby, but how about this? Without the Ottomans, the Mams actually have a chance. They somehow found their way home and are very, very big and scary. Almost as scary as Tver, who's giving a big hug to Moravia. Oh, and the Roman Empire. And over here in India, we finally got a blob popping out. right next to Brandenburg, apparently, and then Rothenburg on their other side. The rest is still messy. Mulhouse has the exact 1444 borders, doing literally nothing, but Mazab over here doing pretty good. Sadly, they are not a body, they are fetishist, but either way, that's pretty cool. Same nations that were doing well before are continuing to do well, with Saluzzo taking even more land over here in Manchuria. Sukondis maybe pushing down a bit over here into this portion of China. I don't actually know the name of this region. Mongolia, I guess. And this Kolathunid is doing very good at getting lots of the development over here in mainland China. Shout out Naxos, looking very good. Australia, however, does not. Polish Peru is thriving, and we now have Venezuela, who is formed from Pskov. It's pretty nice. I'm a big fan of Augsburg and the Augsburgian Caribbeans, right across from Mexico. Very nice. America not doing so well. Looks like they may have lost some land to Canada, which is absolutely a tragedy. But how about Florida? Over here by Alaska. All the New World nations are forming. Kurdish Alaska. And of course, it was the two Sicilies that formed Florida. Very good. It is very Protestant and Reformed over here down in the south. Orthodox still ruling the day over here. And then a bit of a mix mash of a bunch of different religions over here in the Central European portions. Things look just about as messy as it usually does out here. Can't say I'm seeing anything particularly, except for maybe a couple of Catholic provinces that are jumping out at me. South America is all Inti, and then North America, Mayan, Catholic, and then a lot of Totemist, and a little bit of Reformed and Sunni, for good measure. Though I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Confucian US. Big fan of that. Min. Wales has over doubled their development, over 2,500 right now, with the second place going to Texas over there in Pannonia, or whatever that region is called, Carpathia. Scotland in the third spot with 1,357, followed by Vermont. The Mams with 1,400. Once they embrace institution, they will go all the way up to the number 3 spot. The Chinese nation over there, or the nation in China rather, 1,350. And then under 1,000 development for Bitless as well as Barus. Well, everybody, I'm sad to say, Wales decided to form Great Britain, which is just depressing. Though it does bring up my spirits a bit, seeing Texas beat up on Corsica. It's not a sentence I ever thought that I'd say, but you heard it here. Or what about Georgian Italy? That's a good one too. Or how about the Angevin Kingdom down here in Greece? Yeah, and the Mamluks formed Arabia, or at least their Egyptian culture, so I assume it had to have been the Mamluks. Though Westphalia, Persia, big fan of that one. Almost as much as I'm a fan of Scotland almost uniting India. That is very good. Things out east look pretty similar to what it did last time we looked, only maybe a little bit more consolidated, though shout out Avignon getting most of Central Asia under their belt. That is a good one. Funny to see Russia basically just do Russia minus Siberia, basically just up to the Urals and a little bit past it. But Vermont was the Lion of the North, if you don't know. They even conquered Iceland, right across from, you know, the United States, because the US got exiled to Eriksfjord. Oh man. Canada ended up eating Quebec, though Illinois cut them off from a bunch of their land over here, so you'll take what you can get, I suppose. Florida doing fine in the south, Augsburg in Mexico and the Caribbean doing just like they were before. Same with Venezuela and Polish Peru. Polish Peru, and Perm apparently is just split up all over the place. Love me a good Peruvian Peru. Very nice. Mazab ended up doing really good right next to Iranshar. And then there's Mulhouse, who did literally nothing. I'm pretty sure this is exact 1444 borders, except for maybe a province or two up here. Maybe. Barus ended up being the primary nation down under, with Yucatan over here. And shout out Rajputana, one province minor in Tonga, didn't do anything the whole dang game. Kind of like the Great Yuan, with their capital in Hawaii. The Knights fighting with Leon, Parma, and Ganda for the unification of Central Africa. And I'm sure that there's a lot that I'm actually missing, but there's only so much that I can actually even cover. Religiously, it's still pretty Protestant, Reformed, and then Catholic, with a bit of a mix mash of other faiths. East Asia maybe a bit more messy, a little bit more Catholic, maybe a little bit more Tangri. That's really all I can point out though. Animists in NZ, and then over here in Australia, you've got this Dreamtime one. Though I have to say, I love seeing some Tangri colonization going on over here in New Guinea. Catholics over here in Burma, as in Central Asia, of course. Love me some Protestants down here in like Dagestan or whatever this area is called. Maybe this is Dagestan. Oh, this is Dagestan. Man, I really need to learn my geography of Central Asia or whatever this region is called. Got some animists, but for the most part, very much Inti in the south. Maya Over here is the religion of Augsburg, with Catholic for Florida, and then Totemist for the rest, except for Sunni up here in whatever this is, Buhan, who Buha is actually the primary power of Malacca and like this region over here. So I'm not really sure. Culturally, the French definitely pushed over here into northern Iberia, with the Portuguese pushing into the central portions. Leonese is one province and Basque is one province over here in like central Iberia. Oh, that's not true. They're actually over here in Corsica, Sardinia, and Malta. And then don't forget the Galician cultures over here, and Rhodes and Cyprus. So, okay. One single Shandong province over here. Definitely some Novgorodian colonization up here in the north. And I'm not sure about Prussian. We may have had a Prussia form and I just missed it. There ain't no way Paraguay formed Prussia. There is no possible way. No, actually they definitely didn't. Maybe it was just culture conversion. I wish that this feature worked with stuff like that. It's kind of gross. Oh, yo, and I missed Sweden. Just Sweden and Chernigov. There you go. The Roman Empire is one province minor in Voronezh, occupied by the Ruskies, about to get annexed. So maybe that does make Russia the true heirs of Rome. Not seeing nearly as much development in France, still quite a bit over here in Germany, but Pannonia actually is most of it, with a ton of dev over here. And how about those Pontic steppes? Incredibly developed. All of this is like super well developed. Either that or, you know, everything is underdeveloped, but you know, well, whatever. Japan looking good, China looking good, Southeast Asia and India always looking good. But Africa, very good. Like Central Africa, as well as over here into Madagascar, they all look super developed. Just don't look at sub-Saharan Africa. That's a different story. New World, a bit of a mix mash. Over here on the East Coast, quite a bit. Over on the West Coast, not as much. And all that development lends itself to the #1 great power of Great Britain, a Welsh Great Britain, with Scotland actually the #2 spot over in India. So I love to see Scotland, a great power from Asia. And then we have Arabia in the 3rd spot with almost 4,000 development, and then a big drop off down to less than 3,000 for Russia. Vermont just behind them, Texas right behind them, Bitless behind them, that Colathunid or whatever over in China. We have a fully stacked naval hegemon for the Welsh Great British Empire, or whatever you want to call it, and a military hegemon for Arabia. So very good. Sometimes when I see mods like this, I'm not sure if it's going to make a great video. I actually thought this was quite a lot of fun. And if you guys did as well, make sure you let me know in the comments below. If you have a suggestion of something else you'd like to see, leave it down there as well. I definitely appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like it, as well as subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, because you're missing out on a ton if you're not. But yeah, thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. See you in the next one.